A few weeks ago, we saw the governor of Nairobi, Mr. Arthur Johnson Sakaja, was very vocal, saying the president needs to, talk with Raila Odinga. But in recent weeks, sort of went silent. And I want to presume maybe because is about the pressure from the likes of the deputy president. But from where you sit, do you think maybe, because if you listen to the president in January, February, when he was attending church services, he came from from a tough talking stance, and he was sort of softening his stance. But if you hear from the deputy president, and then this is where many people are talking about maybe the president at some point is willing to talk, maybe, just maybe, but the deputy president could be where the line is drawn. And now people are talking about the scenario that played in 2018 before the handshake in 2019, because they said then President now, Dr. William Ruto, was the deputy president, sort of was against the president, sitting down with Raila Odinga, because it was the deputy president then, and the president saw it fit. Now, there's a debate around now Mr. Ruto, Dr. William Ruto, is the president now, and he might be feeling the heat, but from where Gachagua sits, he might not be feeling the heat. Do you think the same scenario is replaying itself again?
I don't think the DP will say something that the president will not agree to. Not this president. Mm-hmm. President Ruto, not this president. There's no way you're going to show him open rebellion and him not do something about it. So it's just a case of, good cop, bad cop, where, you want to show that, by the way, as the president, I'm allowing this to happen. I'm okay with this. And I'm even okay with my deputy saying whatever he wants to say, because that's his right. But in whatever he's saying, he's also saying it within a certain mandate. He has to be within a certain mandate. There's no way you're going to go and conflict your boss without any repercussions, unless your boss has sanctioned what you're saying and said it is okay. So on that particular one, I wouldn't, bet on the fact that they're talking from two different scripts. My question would be, what's the strategy here? Why are they playing good cop, bad cop? Because I believe that's what's happening.
Of course, that is, and we've seen, and at some point, it looks like they're reading from two different scripts, but like you're saying, it's a case of bad cop, good cop. But even as we're near the end of this particular conversation, where will all this leave us? Because at the end of the day, like Jim said, the demonstrations might go on forever, but at the end of the day, it will not have solved anything. Can the government be able to fix the mass in terms of the economic turbulence that we're having in the country? Because as recent as last week, we saw the president saying in Migori County that such things like the cost of electricity will go down. But hours later, the stakeholders said the cost of electricity is set to go up starting on the 1st of April, that is on Saturday. What does the government need to do? Because if you listen again to the Azimio troops, they're saying if today the president decides he can solve the issues, lower the cost of living and all that, then the demonstrations will stop. So what does the government need to do?
See, essentially, even there, Azimio are asking for something that they know is not possible. The moment you give them everything that they need, they'll probably stop being relevant. Because in essence, why are we not seeing them fighting in parliament? They know they don't have the numbers. Right? And especially they do not have support even within their own ranks for what they're trying to do. At the end of the day, the most important thing in everything here is to find out, what does Rao really want? What does the former prime minister really want? Because in essence, regardless of what else you give, unless he gets what he really wants, we're always going to be back here. So the question is, what does he really want? And if you go to find out what he really wants, may not even be what, all these things that people are talking about. And so it's either going to be that we're going to continue having tussles, or it's going to get to a place where the government will be able to figure out how to give him what he wants because they already know what he wants. Right? And in a way, this is, and I've had this a number of times, where it's been stipulated that if you really look at it, he's never really wanted to be the main person, the president, because that curtails him, because then everyone else will now be looking at him. But then having, being on the opposition side, being the one who's always, demanding for change and operating in this environment has shown from the past that that's where the former prime minister really, as in you actually see him in all his capabilities, if I may put it that way. During the election period, there's a time, people were even worried because he looked like we didn't see the row that we know. He was kind of, holding back. He was looking frail. But then the question is, when you look at him now, he's looking like, he's at a place where you can actually see the energy and the strength that is coming through. So the question is, again, from my part is, where was this row when it counted, when it mattered most before the elections? Why didn't we see this Raila? Because I think that if this Raila was there then, he probably might have been the president.